A very good evening to all of you present here. A very warm welcome to all the enthusiastic participants joining us today from across the country for the first session of our virtual corporate drafting internship organized by Legal Vidya. Before we begin this journey, let me take a moment to introduce you to the organization that is making it possible. Established in 2021, Legal Vidya stands tall as a pioneering online edtech platform, passionately committed to enhancing legal education in India. Our vision is simple yet impactful to empower aspiring legal professionals through internships, webinars, workshops, and comprehensive legal courses. But that's not all. We also encourage legal minds to share their voice through article publication, building a community rich in knowledge, exchange, and legal discourse. So, if you are looking to grow, learn, and truly immerse yourself in the world of law, Legal Vidya is your place to be. Now, let's move to introduce our honorable speaker, Mrs. Shivani Gupta ma'am, a highly accomplished law professional and educator, who will be leading today's session. Ms. Gupta is currently a faculty member at KGKPG College, Moradabad, and holds a gold medal in LLM in Intellectual Property Law from IFTM University. She also completed her LLB from Mahatma Jyotiba Phule Rohilkhand University and is currently pursuing PhD in law from Invertis University. Her rich experience includes over 2 years of teaching internships at the District Court in Moradabad and serving as a judge in moot court competitions. She is also contributed as a research intern at UNSCR, truly a dynamic legal mind. Her affiliations with prestigious bodies like International Trademark Association and Mumbai Center for International Arbitration reflect her dedication to advancing legal knowledge and advocacy. We are incredibly grateful to have her guide us in nuances of corporate drafting today, a skill that is indispensable in modern legal practice. So, without any further delay, let's dive into the first session of this internship. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Shivani Gupta, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, Legal Vidya, and thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the warm welcome. Good evening, participant. Very warm welcome to all the participants. Yes, today's session is all about the joint venture agreements. So before directly jumping into the session, I would like to provide you some of the glimpse that what is the term joint here, what is the term venture here, what is the term agreement here, and overall what's the importance, what are the clear specifications that are being used under the category joint venture agreement. So yes, I will share the draft on the screen once I will start discussing with the a draft to how to just to maintain, manage, or what are the key aspects why you have to keep in mind while you are preparing, you are writing about the joint venture agreement. As an introductory part, a joint venture is a mechanism by which two or more entities can combine to do business together without the formality and the commitment involved in forming a partnership or the other similar entity. The joint venture can be useful tool for a small business, large businesses alike, affording the venturing partners with many of the benefits partnership without many of its liabilities. Now, today I will assist you how just to prepare a joint venture agreement. And but when you are just preparing a joint venture agreement, it's always advised just to consult with your seniors, experienced persons of the joint venture, just to prior to execute any agreement forming a joint venture. The particular information is the joint ventures provide businesses with the opportunity to form short-term single purpose partnerships, thus deriving many of the benefits of the strategic partnership without many of the liabilities. There are certain general overviews, advantages, disadvantages of using a joint venture to accomplish any of the business goal. Dear participants, to form the joint venture, the co-venturing partners contribute funds, goods, or the equipments at the outset. The proportion with each partner contribute can be 50% each, or it can be unequal in amount, with the one contributor providing a majority of the resources for the formation and the initial operation of the venture. The instructions that follows this overview provide general information about formation and operation of the joint venture. One of the benefit of the joint venture is its lack of the permanency. Most important, as opposed to the partnership, which can create number of responsibilities, duties, obligations, and on the part of each partner. A joint venture generally only obligates its partner to those specific duties and obligations that set forth in the joint venture agreements. Further, dear participant, joint ventures frequently have short defined existence only after a few years. Sometimes it's just like many joint venture agreements provide for the venture to terminate and cease its existence only after few years. Such time limited joint venture represents less of the commitment on the part of the partners that would a standard partnership. Another benefit offered by the joint venture is that it allows companies to share the expertise or the relationship with other companies to penetrate new markets or to develop new products or the services, thus benefiting both parties. For example, participants, it's like smaller the companies, they can join with the larger, more established companies to share expertise and develop new technologies, affording the larger company access to the new research materials while affording the smaller company additional clout and market presence. Further, such strategic relationships can combine to decrease competition in particular market, making it easier for the partners involved to penetrate that market. Joint ventures are frequently used when a domestic company wishes to enter a foreign market. The joint venture structure allows the domestic company to seek a short term project specific relationship with the company within that foreign country. Now, the domestic company then can take advantage of the foreign company's local known how and the relationships, while the foreign company gain the access to the relationships and the expertise it might not ordinarily be exposed to. It's worth noting that exit strategy employed by many joint venture partners is for one partner to acquire the give a sec. It just give a sec. I'm just received a very urgent call. Just give a sec. Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience caused. Yes, it's worth noting that an exit strategy employed by many joint venture partners is for one partner to acquire the other partner's interest in the venture. That kind of approach, dear participants, can work well where one business has used the venture to experiment outside of its core business, developing a product or the service with another company whose expertise lies closer to the business conducted by the joint venture. Now, there are certain instructions also, dear participants, when there is a basic framework for example, we can say such an agreement that is setting forth in a general terms and types of the provisions that are being necessary to establish a joint venture. There are certain instructions that should assist all the members in completing the draft of their own joint venture agreement that is being tailored specifically to the needs of their business. So regarding the instructions, the first part is about the Purpose. Look, joint ventures are generally formed to accomplish a specific purpose. Many are structured so that they can authorize to perform a specific function and are prohibited from taking any action outside of the course of performing that particular function. And in the when I would share the joint venture agreement sample, then I will also specify you all the details that the purpose or that the joint venture is being established there on behalf to perform. Next is the contribution, very important aspect of the joint venture agreement. Look, at the outset of forming a joint venture, the venturing partners must determine what each of them will be contributing to the effort. The partners may contribute cash, they may contribute equipment, or the goods actually necessary for the operation of their joint venture. While many joint ventures are formed with all the parties contributing equal amount of cash, the parties may contribute to the venture in the proportion they choose. Always determine what each partner will contribute to the venture and describe in detail the items, amounts, overall percentage of total joint venture funds in the appropriate provisions of the joint venture agreement. Next aspect regarding that is the distribution of the profits. Frequently, the joint venture assigns the profit based upon the proportion of each partner's original contribution to the venture. However, the distribution of the profits can also be apportionated by based upon the considerations. Likewise, dear participants, the amount or the types of services that are being provided on the behalf of the venture by each of the partner. Now that is about the distribution of the profit. Now comes the another aspect, that is the management. Look, a joint venture is generally managed through the delegation of the authority by venturing partners to a managing agent. There are many different options for such a manager can be structured. Now, ultimately, it's important to clearly establish who will have direct responsibility for the day-to-day operations of the venture, to whom that the person or the entity will be directly accountable, and who will be authorized to bind the venture. A common solution to the issue is to establish a steering committee like under the terms of the joint venture agreement, with the members being drawn from each other. We can say often in the proportion to the partners' contribution to the venture. That is, equal partners with each appoint 4 members to an 8 members committee. The joint venture agreement might then set forth the terms under which the steering committee could appoint a general manager or the CEO to operate the day-to-day operations of the venture. Another solution is to have the partner appoint a general manager directly, vesting decision making and oversight into an individual. No matter what kind of management structure the person choose, be certain to specify clearly the person or the entity that shall be authorized to bind the venture and that shall be directly responsible for the day-to-day operations of the venture. Now comes the another aspect, that is that we talk about the term of the joint venture. While many joint ventures are limited in durations, others are established with the indefinite lifespan. The term of the agreement and of the venture itself should be discussed clearly and agreed upon by the parties prior to the executing the joint venture agreement. Now that's about the basic theory. You must be accompanied with what are the facts and so on. Now I would share my screen so that I could make you aware of how the agreements are being prepared. My screen is visible to you all. Please, okay, just give a sec. I just opened it in a word. Na, give a sec. Is this visible to you all? Okay. Yes. Dear participants, I just discussed about all the interns who joined. Okay. Yes, dear participants, just seconds ago, I have briefly discussed about what is the joint venture is, what is the relevancy, what are the key aspects you should keep in mind while you are drafting any of the joint venture agreement. On the screen, font size is little bit small. Wait, I'm just increasing the font size. Yes, and on the screen it's displaying about the joint venture agreement, and in this way only you have to draft the joint venture. Yes, so anyone want to ask anything about the same? And this is a very sample draft, and you can rely upon this draft, or if not, then you can add on, or you can just remove some of the aspects that are being required as per the as the needful. Okay, so should we directly now jump into the agreement draft, or anyone having any of the question or the doubts regarding the same? If anyone have, please feel free to ask, else I'm discussing the agreement draft. Yes, so yes, we have started with, actually the thing is that joint venture agreement is also a kind of a agreement. So when we start drafting it, we will start with the same word that is being mentioned. This agreement, the agreement is made up of on the particular day, date, by, and between. Now it said like we have to type the entity name, or for example, what kind of entity it is, or and what is the nature of the business, that between whom the venture agreement is being prepared. So first of all, we have to mention the first party, then we have to mention the nature of the second party, along with the entity type. Entity type means here means what kind of business is this, and they both the entities for parties, either the first party and the second party, are known as the parties. Collectively the parties, that is also being mentioned here. It's collectively known as the parties. I hope this part is clear to you all. So this is the way in which the venture agreement is being started. Now this is only a sample draft, I'm again saying, and you can make the changes as needful. So not to just worry about, okay, we have to, we just always keep in mind, oh, this is just a rough background. You can make any of the joint venture agreement draft on this behalf, any kind of it's a small company, it's a one person company, or it's just like a agree, it's just like any kind of entity. Now we will mention about, earlier we have mentioned about the basic details like entity name, etc. Now in the second aspect we will mention whereas the parties engaged in the business. So briefly we have to describe the first party business, briefly we have to describe the second party business. Now these are another aspects that we have to keep in mind. Now the next is that we have already mentioned about the details of the parties. We have mentioned about the as engagement of the parties, that in what kind of business they are. Now we will describe briefly about what is the purpose of joint venture. This is a very important aspect, that okay, why the joint venture is being prepared, why there is a need to, that we are making this agreement, what's the reason. So we will mention that also, or we will describe briefly. Now it will be followed by, thereof it be resolved in the consideration of the mutual covenants, promises, warranty. Look here, we have mentioned each and every aspect. First is the mutual covenants, followed by the promises, last but not the least warranties, and other good and valuable considerations, set forth therein the parties agrees as. And parties agree as means the first party and the second party both are agreeing upon the same. Now it just like first is the formation. As I have already told you about the aspects, what are the key aspects you have to keep in mind while preparing for the joint venture agreement. So yes, give a sec. So yes, these are that only. Then it's just like the joint venture formed pursuant to the agreement. Agreement means both the parties that are being into the joint venture shall do business under the name of what, and giving the legal address, as we have read about the memorandum of association in the company law. Have you people have, heard about the memorandum of association in the company law and the article of association? MOA and AOA in the under the Companies Act 2013. Yes, yes, Ankita. Then we have mentioned about the clauses: name clause, address clause, object clause. I think you people have might heard of these under the memorandum of association. Likewise, yes, Dhruv. Likewise, here also it is that we have to mention. Okay, so what is the purpose? Okay, now it's like purpose shall the joint venture shall be formed for the purpose of this describe, and that we have to describe in detail the business that would be conducted by the joint venture. In the first aspect, there is just like what is the objective. Like the joint venture shall be considered in all the respects of the joint venture between the parties, and nothing in this agreement shall be construed to create a partnership or any fiduciary relationship between the parties. Now, the third aspect that is being followed by the contributions. The parties shall make initial contribution to the joint venture according to the following terms. What are these terms? These are first party contribution, that is particularly stating specifically the amount of first party's financial contribution, as well as any equipment, goods, or any other value contributed by the first party. That is including the percentage of total fines contributed by second party. Also, that is being including the date by which such contributions must be made. Second party contribution must be like state specifically the amount of second party's financial contribution, as well as any equipment, goods, or any other value contributed by the first party, including the percentage of total fines contributed to the second party, also including the date by which such contributions must be made. Now it is just like we are including the bank details that okay, these are the bank details of following bank that is being established, and then financial contributions will be deposited in that bank for so that the operations, setup, administrations of the joint venture could be recruited in the future. Next, even the joint venture include requires additional funds to be contributed by the parties. Such additional contribution shall be made in the following proportion, and that proportion detail must be mentioned. For example, it will state how many part or how many proportion each party is paying or they are responsible for contributing in the additional fund that are being required. Next is the distribution of the profits is just and any of the net profits that are occurring to the joint venture shall be held and distributed to the parties, and the proportion shall be mentioned here. Management that is followed by, that is like joint venture shall be managed according to certain terms. For example, we are describing structure of management, procedures for appointing, procedures for selecting the managers. For example, managers like chief executive manager or general manager. There are certain fees, compensations, or there are certain other instructions. If there are, then we have to mention it in the clause 5. Clause number 6 is about the no exclusivity. Exclusivity. It's just like neither party shall be obliged to any offer any business opportunity or conduct any business exclusively with the other party by the virtue of this agreement. This is a very basic thing. When we discuss draft the agreement also, then also we mention this clause. Next is the term. The term is just like, okay, for how much time it will be in full force or full effect. So yes, we have mentioned it like the agreement shall remain in full force or effective for a period of 5 years from the date of the agreement, from the date of the initial term. And once there is expiration of the initial term, the agreement shall automatically renewed for successive periods. That is like in renewal term, either it can be 1 year, 2 year, or unless either of the party give any written notice for the termination of the other party at least 30 days prior. that is not more than 60 days prior and for the expiration of the initial term on any of the renewal term. Now, another term is the confidentiality. Confidentiality information, for example, is just like neither party may disclose any confidential information to any person, any entity, or except by required by the law. Further actions we have to mention that okay, there are certain further actions that need to be just taken by certain documents to be presented. Assignments is there, governing laws are there. Governing for example, for the assign the case of assignment, it's just like a transfer is made pursuant to either a sale or to all the substantially all the parties asset. It's just like that. Now governing laws, yes, so yes, the agreement is always construed, or anything is under the law is always construed in the governed in the all the law respect by the laws of state, particularly that are being without regard to the conflicts of law principles. Next is the counterparts. Counterparts is just like the agreement may be executed in the several counterparts. It's just like it constituting an original and all of which taken together that shall constitute an agreement. There are certain severability also that is held unforeseeable for any reason that the reminder must be made. Next is followed by the notice. Notice is just like notice required otherwise given pursuant, and that must be either in writing or in mail. And it's like just like addressed as first party, second party, and if to the joint venture, it's like that. Now it's just the heading. Heading means that for any convenience only, and it doesn't affect any of the meaning of the provision. Entire agreement is the clause that is just like between the first party and the second party and supersedes any prior understanding or the representation of any preceding the date of the agreement. There is no other promise, no other conditions, no other undertakings or the other agreements written. And now it's about the attestation. So yes, it's like a witness whereof the parties cause this agreement to be executed by the date and year. First party details here, second party details here. It's just like that, and that's all about the joint venture agreement. Yes, any of the participant, if facing any of the problem, then please let me know. It's a very easy, if you are acquainted with the agreement, how to draft the agreement, you can easily draft the joint venture agreement. Yes, any of the participants here facing any of the problem, please feel free to ask. Everyone got everything what I have told you in the last 30 minutes? Either gives a thumbs up. Okay, Roshan. Okay, Suruchi. Yes, Sarabji.
Hello.
All clear? Okay, Mustaq. Yes, please.
Yeah, if we face any difficulty while drafting, we can how can we clear our doubts?
Regarding what kind of a difficulty you are facing, please let me know so I can just give you the reason or answer to that aspect.
No, I mean it's like most of the this formation of company, whatever we had learned during the formation of the company, the process, the name clause.
Regarding the formation of the company, you have to follow the registration procedure of the company. You want to register a company, then you have to first of all prepare in that you look, joint venture agreement are not for the formation of the company. Its sole purpose is just to perform the business where already registered companies or the entities coming together to perform any particular business for a particular time period for gaining particular profit. Ma'am, your question is regarding that how to register the company, then you should start take initiative from framing the memorandum of association and article of association, and after all the documentation, just go to the registrar of the NCLT, and your company will be registered. Both are different things.
No, and here in between you told that there will be name clause and so if the
See, I
two
just gave
companies
the
are coming
actually
together.
I just gave the reference that in the company law we discuss about that. I just give the reference. There is no
Oh,
connection between those things here.
okay, and no, one more doubt is there
Yes,
like
ma'am.
if both like two parties are coming together for a joint venture, so
Mhm.
they will not be forming another company for that, and it will only be based on the agreement between them, right?
Can you please repeat? I lost.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, if two companies are coming together for a particular, like, joint venture
Yes,
for
yes,
doing a particular way, so they won't be forming another company, and it will be only based on this joint venture agreement.
yes, absolutely, totally agreed. Now you understand the concept. Yes, they're just
Okay,
coming
okay.
together, not forming any other company.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime. Okay. Yes, anyone else, please? Actually, it's always good to ask your doubts. It's always good. No one want to ask. If you need this draft, and I will share this the whole of the word file to the legal Vidya, they will make you available. If in case you need this draft to just to practice the joint venture agreement and all,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
it might be helpful for the participants. Okay, okay, Roshan. I think what would be the subject? What would be the liability? Subject, you are asking about the liability, but what kind of a liability you are asking? If we are talking about the liability under the joint venture agreement, and then it's the liability of both the parties, as stated in the draft also. And if it's earlier in the draft, it's already mentioned that okay, it how much of the proportion the parties either first party is liable or the second party is liable, so that will be clearly mentioned in earlier in the agreement only, as both the parties are equally liable under the joint venture agreement. Okay, Sarabjit. Yes, anyone else, please come forward. Giving you 2 minutes. If you are people are facing any of the doubt, then please feel free to ask. I think no one have any doubt, so we will end the session and we'll meet you in the new session with the new draft. Till time, study law, study hard, practice hard, draft as much as you can. Yes, Shuruchi. Okay, thank you,
Like,
everyone.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. One more thing. When we practice this making the joint venture agreement draft,
yes, ma'am.
so like, can we send it to you for like?
Absolutely, absolutely, ma'am. You're most welcome. You can send me anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Legal Vidya will give you my LinkedIn ID. Wait, give a sec. I will provide you my LinkedIn profile. I think they will provide you. Yes, Saranjit. Give a second.
If no one have any queries, so we can wind up this session.
Yeah, absolutely. I think no one have, and please provide them my LinkedIn profile ID.
So, ma'am, we will share in the group of
Yeah.
your LinkedIn
Thank you.
ID.
Yeah, thank you, participants. Thank you, Legal Vidya for the platform.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, participants, for joining this session. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night. रुक जा मैंने